Hi there, welcome to Hatha Flow. My name is Katherine. Today you might like a blanket and a block. We are going to start on our backs in Supta Tadasana, or reclined mountain pose. So just like you'd be standing up, you're standing up, but you're laying down. Rotate your palms to face the ceiling. Backs of the hands are on the floor alongside the body. And you're flexing your feet so the toes are peeling back towards the kneecaps. You're reaching through the heels. Just noticing the position of your shoulder blades, the position of your head. Straighten yourself out and then flatten the shoulder blades against the mat. Maybe drawing them a little closer together, down away from the ears. Reaching through your heels as you lengthen your tailbone towards the heels. Gently draw your low belly in. Standing nice and tall in this reclined position, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And let's take a few deep breaths here. Just checking in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling physically, emotionally. Welcoming all parts of yourself to your yoga practice. Perhaps even giving yourself a smile or an inner smile. Glad you're here. And with an inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides and then back behind you, reaching them back behind you. So now it's like you're standing with your arms overhead. One more round of breath here, reaching, reaching, reaching. And then exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Spread your fingers really wide, like two paper fans coming together. Pressing the pads of each finger together, the base of each of the fingers together, and winging the elbows out, stretching out the hand, the palm. You might feel a nice stretch in your wrist. On an exhale, release your arms down, and then inhale, reach the arms back up behind you, and start to roll your ankles and wrists. Going both directions. And then we'll take a big morning stretch. Big breath in. Exhale, gently collect your knees towards your chest. Pause here as you take a big soft belly breath into your thighs and out the mouth. Slowly roll to one side. Take your time coming on up to hands and knees. So anytime our knees are on the mat, feel free to grab that blanket if that would be helpful for you. Here, let me notice that it's too bright in my camera on my phone. Can't pick this up. Yes, I'm using the camera on my phone. My other camera is just not working anymore. So spread the fingers nice and wide. Make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath your hips. And then walk the hands just a little bit in front of the shoulders, just slightly in front. So the bend of your wrist, the crease in your wrist is not quite as deep. And then you can really press the base of each finger into the mat. Doing a little bit of Chakravakasana here. Inhale, lifting your head and tail. You're in a back bend like cow pose. And then exhale, round your back. Rear comes back towards heels, elbows to mat. Drop the head like you're in child's pose. But we don't stop here. We keep moving. On an inhale, come on up through hands and knees. Broad chest. Exhale, round the back. elbows to the mat, chest to thighs, drop the head down. Keep moving to the rhythm of your breath and check in. Are you going really fast? Are you breathing really fast? What would it be like to slow down a little bit? Keep moving, nice, slow, steady pace. Let's do that one more round. We'll meet sitting back on our heels in child's pose. On the next inhale, stand up on your knees, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Step your right foot forward, come into a low lunge. Bending the front knee a little deeper, perhaps hands on either side of the front foot. You're welcome to keep the back knee down. Maybe you want to lift that back knee. Sometimes I feel like if I put a lot of weight in that front foot and back foot with the back knee lifted, I get a really nice deep stretch in my hamstring. I feel pretty good. So again, knee up or down. Let's take about one more round of breath here. Slowly lower the back knee if you've lifted it and step that front foot back. Both hands and knees on the mat, Chakravakasana. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, round the back, nice and easy. Elbows to the mat, chest to thighs. Drop the head. On the next inhale, stand up on the knees, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Step your left foot forward, come into that low lunge. Both hands on either side of the front foot. Adjusting this posture so you're feeling a stretch in the front of the right hip, a stretch in the hamstrings. Again, maybe that back knee is lifted. Please do that if that brings you joy. Take about 2 more rounds of breath. If you lifted your back knee, let the exhale bring it down. Step back, hands and knees, Chakravakasana. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, round the back, elbows to the mat, chest to thighs. Inhale, stand up on the knees, reach the arms up overhead. With your right hand, grab a hold of your left wrist and let's take a side bend. Tummy drawing in, side bending to the right. Couple breaths here. Lengthening the left side ribs towards the ceiling. Second side, come on back through center. With an inhale, lengthen and side bend to the left. Next inhale, come back up. Reach those arms up and then start to rotate those wrists. And I'd like you to imagine like falling leaves, wrists keep rolling and your hands are just kind of floating down towards the floor as you rotate those wrists. Coming into downward dog. Spread those fingers nice and wide, lift the hips. If Few rounds of breath here, either pedaling the feet or coming into stillness. And if you are remaining still, see if you can really spread out the weight distribution of your body throughout the hands, the feet. The backs of the legs are feeling pretty tight still. You can bend those knees so you can really lift the hip creases straight up towards the sky. Let's take about one more round of breath here. Go ahead and lower the knees back down towards the floor. We're going to do a variation of Vajrasana. Basically, it's like a half sun salutation. We've done this a few times. So the shins are going to be parallel. Sit back to the heels, chest to thighs, stack the palms face up on the sacrum. Let your head fall towards the floor. On an inhale, kick your feet into the planet, reach up. And then exhale, rear goes back, swan dive. You're going to let your forehead just gently tap the floor in front of you. Stack the palms face up. Inhale, standing up on those knees, reaching up. Exhale, rear goes back, heart comes forward, hinging from the hips. A nice, very gentle, controlled placement of the forehead on the mat. And then the inhale, feel the strength of your glutes as you kick the feet into the floor to reach back up again. Keep moving with your breath, slowing the breath down. If you notice maybe you're going a little fast. About 3 more rounds. At the top of the breath here, as you're reaching up, shift the weight over onto your left knee, step forward, arms can be up overhead. You can either interlace the fingers, extending the index finger, or maybe the arms come into a V. What helps you feel most spacious? What feels most breathable? You can bend that front knee a little deeper. Now we're inviting a deeper stretch into the front of the left hip. Tummy's drawing in. Lifting the heart space away from the navel. One more inhale here. Exhale, both hands on either side of the front foot. Please tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. Here we are in a lunge. Left hand comes over to the left edge of the mat. Right arm reaches towards the sky, rotating the heart and head to the right. Your front knee is bent over your front heel. One more inhale here. Exhale, both hands are on the mat. Lower the back knee, step back. Hands and knees. Moving towards Vajrasana flow. So sit back onto the heels, stack the palms face up. Release the forehead towards the floor. On an inhale, kick those legs powerfully into the floor, reach up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, rear goes back, heart comes forward. Forehead, little tap on the floor in front of you. Inhale, come back up. 2 more rounds. At the top of the breath, we'll meet arms up overhead. Shift the weight into your right knee. Step the left foot forward, coming into a low lunge. Creeping that front foot forward. So you feel a healthy stretch in the top of the right thigh, front of the right hip. Maybe palms together. Maybe arms in a V. Again, check in what feels most spacious, most breathable. Slowing the breath down. One more inhale here. When the exhale arrives, frame your front foot with both hands, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, revolve, lunge right hand to the right edge of the mat, and rotating heart to the left as you lift that left arm. See if you can try to keep your hips fairly level here. That right hip's probably going to want to drop a little lower than the left. One more round of breath here. When the exhale arrives, left hand to the mat, step back, downward dog, lift the hips. Feeling both feet, both hands equally pressing into the floor. Inhale, come into plank pose. Exhale, knees to the mat. Coming through hands and knees, let's do a little bit of balancing cat. So to begin, we'll extend your right leg back behind you. On an exhale, draw the right knee into chest, round the back. On the inhale, extend right leg back behind you, broaden the chest. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, extend. Nice and slow. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, slow movements. Inhale, nice and slow. Once more. Pausing here, leg back behind you, broad chest, level hips. Good, so if your back is a little bit in a back bend, I'd like you to bring it a little bit more neutral. So neither rounded or in back bend. You're gonna swing your back foot across the body to the left. So it's on the left outer edge of the mat. Draw your tummy in. On an inhale, lift your heart away from your navel. And then exhale, look over left shoulder at your right foot, that is. We'll pause here. So we're getting a little bit of a stretch, hopefully, or a pretty good stretch in the right side body. Pressing the ball of the back foot into the mat. On the inhale, come on out of looking behind you. Right knee back to the mat. Sit back onto heels. Vajrasana flow. Back of the hands stack on the sacrum. On an inhale, stand up on the knees, reach up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Little forehead tap to the floor. That's one. Let's do two more. And next time you reach the arms up overhead, We're going to rotate the wrists as the arms come down alongside the body, rotating the wrists. We meet forehead to the floor, sitting on the heels, stacking the palms on the sacrum. Round of breath here. Hands and knees, come on up. Spread those fingers. Second side, balancing cat. Inhale, extend the left leg back behind you. Exhale, knee bends towards chest, round the back. Inhale, hips stay level as you extend the leg, broad chest. Exhale, round the back. Keep moving to the rhythm of the breath, nice and slow. Exhale, slow movements. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. As you exhale, part the shoulder blades, drop the head. Inhale, maybe lifting that leg a little higher. Exhale. Next, inhale, left leg back behind you. Pause there. Swing it over to the right side of the mat. So you're sweeping it across the body. Back foot, toes tucked, tummy's in. Inhale, lift your heart away from your belly button. And then as you exhale, look over right shoulder, pressing that back foot into the floor. Breathing some length into the left side body. The base of each finger is pressing into the mat. Fingers are spread. One more exhale here. Inhale, come on back through center. And exhale, child's pose. Stack the palms face up on the sacrum. Vajrasana flow. Inhale, kick the feet into the floor, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Forehead taps down. That's one. Let's do two more. This next one, at the top of the breath, arms are reached up overhead. Once again, falling leaves with the hands. So rotate those wrists, rotating them nice and slow. Rear goes back, heart goes forward. Let's pause here. Child's pose, palms stacked, face up on the sacrum. Melt the head towards the floor. And then come on up. Let's come on to our bellies. Coming into, actually, before we go any further, let's just lay flat, crocodile pose. Stack your forearms, rest your forehead on your forearms. Taking a moment to really become one here with the floor, releasing the body into the planet. Take a few deep breaths, big belly breaths. And then hopefully from this relaxed place, you're going to start to keep your chest and your rib cage anchored to the mat. And then you're going to creep your toes towards the bottom edge of the mat. So you're lengthening out your spine. You're kind of tractioning the spine here by keeping the rib cage anchored, and you're kind of creeping those toes, creep them away from that rib cage. So now hopefully you feel a little bit taller. Tailbone lengthening towards the heel, lifting the low belly slightly away from the mat. And just pause here for one more round of breath, toning the tummy in. And then we'll come into Sphinx pose now. So now we got a nice long spine. Prop yourself up on those elbows. Elbows under shoulders. Push the elbows into the mat, lifting up. Now, this is one way to do Sphinx pose, elbows under shoulders. If for whatever reason this doesn't feel like a good fit for your spine today, you could come, elbows could be in front of you as you hold on to either elbow. So the bend of the back is a little less intense. Wherever you are, push whatever it is into the floor that the arms are touching. So push those arms into the floor, lift the heart. And then make contact with your glutes. So I'd like you to just kind of squeeze them a little bit, feel them engage. And from this engaged place, you're slowly going to lift your right leg. This is peacock pose. The right leg is going to be straight though. And overall, like it's not going to be a big, exciting kind of visual, or maybe your right straightened leg is just an inch off the floor. That's totally fine. You're working pretty hard at that right glute though. You're working pretty hard, and maybe the hamstring, you might feel it. One more round of breath, just lifting the right leg straightened, doing your best to keep the hips level. And then release the right leg to the mat and just take a moment noticing right and left and right. Okay, second side, lifting the straightened left leg any amount off the floor. Feel the left glute work. Lifting up out of the shoulders. Breath continues to move at a slow, steady pace. One more round of breath here. Good, go ahead and release. Come back to that crocodile pose. Soften, soften, soften the entire body. Imagine your body just simply a container for the breath, like a balloon. And the balloon expands as you inhale. It naturally draws towards center as you exhale. Each exhalation, releasing further to the floor. Okay, let's flip on over. Please avoid drawing the knees into the chest right away. Let's try to keep, and actually, you know what you could do is you could do constructive rest pose. Take the feet wide, knees fall together. So if you have tightness in the low back, you can really sit like this. Continuing to soften, staying focused on that image of the body being just a container for the breath to move in and move out. Okay, we're going to do some rounds of bridge pose, some variations of bridge pose. Walk your feet closer together, preparing for a bridge pose. The arms are going to be alongside the body for this bridge. You're welcome to interlace the hands behind you once you come up, or I like to grab the edges of the mat and kind of walk my hands down the edges and try to rip the mat apart. It really helps me open my chest. So feel into what's going to work for you. but let's lift on up. Keep your gaze on the ceiling once you lift. We're just going to hold this bridge pose for a few rounds of breath here. Keeping the thighs parallel. Nice even toning of the glutes and hamstrings. So if you feel like you're over clenching in the butt, what would it be like if you eased off just a little bit and then let maybe the hamstrings work a little bit more? Muscles of the feet and the lower legs, all working together. And it's okay if you don't go as high because you're not squeezing your butt. That's totally fine. We're just interested in spreading out the sensation of this pose throughout the backs of the legs. Of course, you may feel it in the tops of the thighs too. One more round of breath. With an exhale, release the hips back down. Just pause here. Please don't pull the knees into the chest. If you need to, you can always come back to that constructive rest to broaden the low back. And then we're going to do a little bit more challenging versions of bridge pose. Please stay resting if you need to. Okay, so lifting the back up into bridge pose. You're going to shift the weight of your body into your right foot and slowly lifting the left leg towards the sky. Keep your gaze on the ceiling. Feeling that right leg really work. Potentially the hips are going to kind of come out of balance. Maybe one hip wants to be higher or lower than the other. Try to keep those hips level. Let's take one more round of breath. And then left foot to the floor. Exhale, release the hips back down. Take a round of breath, noticing sensations. Okay, second side, lift on up. Shift the weight over to your left foot. Slowly lifting the right leg. So neither holding on to the inhale or holding on to the exhale. It's interesting to notice when we're under pressure or in some sort of predicament, do we tend to grasp to the inhale? So it's hard to exhale, or is it grasping to the exhale? You just want to keep inhaling, but you don't let go. Just noticing is the first step. Don't always have to do something about it, but maybe you can right now, huh? Let's take about one more round. And then releasing back down with an exhale. Constructive rest pose, feet go wide, knees together. Releasing the hands, relaxing the face. Coming back to that visualization of you, a container for breath. Just this container to hold that which was once outside of you, comes in, and then you release it, letting it out again, merging with all that is outside of you. It's like oxygen on loan. Good, and then walk those feet back towards each other. Extend your right leg towards the sky. So options here, we're just going to stretch out the back of the right leg. Some of you might just interlace the fingers behind the thigh. This would be a good time to grab a belt or strap if that feels like the best way for you to stretch out the leg. If there's not one nearby, you certainly can get a really good stretch by just reaching your heel towards the sky, pressing the back of the thigh into interlaced fingers. So you're quite active in the leg, even though you're lengthening the hamstrings. If you're unable to interlace the fingers behind the thigh, just kind of approximating this position. So you're kind of holding the leg, reaching up. And you might find you need to keep the knee bent a little bit. That's okay too. Keep reaching that heel, peeling the toes back, lengthening your right hip away from your face. Some of you maybe even want to grab that foot. That feels good. And then we're going to move into reclined pigeon, right ankle on top of left thigh. Holding onto the back of the opposite thigh now, your left thigh. Maybe you can grab a hold or interlace fingers on top of that left shin. Now your top foot, you're going to have it flexed. And if grabbing the bottom leg is inaccessible, this would be a good time to slide a block under your bottom foot, and then you can kind of be hands-free here. See if you can release the back of your pelvis a little closer to the floor. And notice how the weight is distributed throughout the back of the pelvis. I'd like you to lean the weight of your pelvis over onto the right hip a little bit to increase the sensations of this stretch. Stay active in your top foot, toes peeling back towards knee. Let's take about 2 more breaths. And then come back through center, both feet to the mat. Take a moment, check it out. Noticing right and left side of the body. Okay, stretch out the left side, the left leg. So reach that left leg up. Peel the toes towards the knee. If you can, interlace the fingers behind the thigh. Make that like a wall that you're pressing your hamstrings into. So the quad, the top of the left thigh is real active, like you're lifting the kneecap. Toes are peeling back towards that knee. And just like in that reclined pigeon pose, when we were trying to release the back of the pelvis to the floor, we're trying to do that here as well. Take about 2 more breaths. Reclined pigeon, left ankle on top of right thigh. Your top foot, the left one is flexed. Releasing the back of the pelvis to the floor. It's almost like you're trying to release that tailbone to the mat as well. And then noticing the weight of your body on the back of your pelvis, around your sacral area. Slowly roll to your left a little bit. So you want a little more weight on the left side of the sacrum. just to get a little bit of a different stretch in this outer hip, outer hamstring stretch, this reclined pigeon pose. One more inhale. One more exhale. Both feet to the mat. Okay, just doing a little bit of core work here. Have your feet on the floor, knees bent, hands behind the head. We're going to do some oblique strengthening. So on an exhale, you're going to lift your chest and your head, trying to bring your right elbow towards the outside of the left thigh. On the inhale, you're going to come back down. Exhale, left elbow towards outside of left thigh. Inhale, come back down. So this is the variation you would do if your low back is pretty tight, it's compromised in some way. Another option could be is thighs into chest. Exhale, so the feet would be off the floor. Inhale, come on back down. Exhale. Inhale, come back down. Keep moving with the breath. Once more on either side. Good, release the body back to the floor, preparing for a twist. Knees into chest. On an exhale, swing the knees over to the right. And you're going to extend your left arm towards the top of the mat behind you. So just release it back to the floor. Your right hand can rest on the top of the thigh. So a little bit different arm variation in the twist here than perhaps you do regularly, right? Usually this left arm would be out to the left here. I'm just reaching it up overhead, back of the hand to the floor. Inviting this really nice stretch on the left side body. Feel the weight of your skull on the floor. And then explore what would it be like if you turned your head to the left? So towards that arm that's raised. Any amount. One more inhale here. Exhale. Come on out of it. Second side. Knees go left. Right arm reaches back behind you. Left hand can stack on those thighs. So sometimes, so this is often can be pretty tight on the side body here. So what would happen is that the knees are further from the chest. I want to encourage you best you can, pull those knees as close to the chest as they can get. And then the top hand can just kind of help stabilize this pulling in. And then you get a really nice stretch. I feel it in my obliques. I feel it along kind of almost behind my right shoulder blade a little bit. Check in if there's any resistance to this stretch, be it through holding your breath or a subtle keeping yourself up off the floor. Let the exhale show you how to let go. And then perhaps turning your head to the right in the mount. One more inhale here. Exhale, come on back through center. Release the feet to the floor, just noticing. And then a happy baby pose. So holding the outside edges of the feet as you bring the feet to face the ceiling, knees are bent. If this isn't accessible, your feet aren't accessible, just grab a hold of the ankles. My arms are on the inside of the legs. I'm kind of pulling my lower leg bones towards the floor. And when I say pulling, I'm not like, maybe that's the wrong word. It's not quite pulling. It's kind of just like encouraging that direction. So make it breathable. Don't feel like it's being forced. And then bending the knees, bring the soles of the feet together and hold on to the outer edges of the feet as you interlace the fingers. And so here you're in this like floating cobbler's pose. And once again, if the outer edges of the feet, you can't interlace them, your arms don't feel like quite long enough, you can hold on to the ankles once again. So it's like almost like, I guess you're a little bit like a frog. Still inviting that stretch into the inner thighs. Releasing the back of the pelvis to the floor. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of a release in the low back. Soften your face and wiggle your face, like move your expression around. You can kind of squeeze and then soften. Just kind of being aware of what muscles are being held. And then see if you can relax the muscles of your face a little bit more. Slowly release the feet to the floor. Take the feet as wide as the mat. The knees are going to stay bent. And we're going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. So swinging them to the left, swinging them to the right. And just like windshield wipers don't touch, neither do your legs, because those feet are wide. Keep moving side to side. And then the next time the knees go right, you'll pause there. Extend your arm, your left arm out to the left, right arm out to the right. So you're in kind of T position with the arms. Head turns to the left. Reach your left knee away from your left hip. Good, and then come back through center. We'll do the second side. Knees go left, head turns right. Reaching right hip away from the right hip. Right knee away from the right hip, excuse me. Good, fabulous. Come on back through center. Go ahead and extend your legs long for Shavasana, or find any other position that feels relaxing to you, maybe legs up the wall. And of course, you're always welcome to meditate. If that's a better fit for you, you can sit up. We're going to take about a 4-minute relaxation pose. So flattening the shoulder blades on the back, backs the hands rest to the floor. Let those feet flop open. It's important to take some time just to allow your body to integrate all the movements that you did today. How often do you give yourself just full opportunity just to simply lay down? That's it. No phone, no podcasts, Just quiet. You and gravity and the breath. Shavasana. Deepen your breath. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Taking a big morning stretch. As you're ready, slowly draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Hug of gratitude. Taking this time out for yourself. Slowly roll to one side. Use your arms to help you come up to a comfortable seat. And we'll meet with our palms together in front of our heart. Checking in, how are you doing? Notice how your body, mind, breath feel. If you're able to cultivate any benefits from your practice today, rejoice. You did this. You did this to yourself. And then think of someone special that you'd like to dedicate your practice to. Imagine you could share these benefits with someone special, maybe someone who could use a little bit more peace or strength, whatever it is that you found you have created inside of yourself. See them clearly. And then we'll send it out with an exhale. Take a big breath in. Send it out to them. See them wherever they are in their day, feeling good, spacious, smiling. Thanks so much for practicing. Namaste.